Hello and welcome back to BS Rugby, and it's that time of week again, the United Rugby Championships. We've just had our third week of the competition, and it's time for the review and the reaction to the weekend's games. As always, if you're new here, hit the subscribe button down below, leave your thoughts on your team's performance in the comments down below, and of course, hit the like button as well. Let's get straight into it. Friday night games then. My team, the Ospreys, were absolutely battered at home against the South Sea Sharks, losing 13 points to 27 as the South Sea Sharks got their first win of the season and we lost our first game of the campaign. Tries from Ward and Potiega saw the South Sea Sharks get their first win of the season. And I've got to say, we were really poor. The Ospreys really poor throughout. Not creating anything, not really looking like scoring any particular tries or creating any great opportunities at all. 0 clean breaks throughout the game for us just kind of shows a lack of intent to get that try, lack of creativity, maybe individual brilliance. Only one offload throughout the game, only one turnover as well. It simply wasn't good enough. And this will be a big boost to the South Sea Sharks as they'll be looking to welcome back the likes of Sia Khaleesi, Lucanio Am over the next couple of weeks after their involvement with the Springbok squad during the course of the Rugby Championship. They'll be looking to build upon this now, give them confidence in this competition as well after a very difficult couple of weeks. But for the Ospreys, Toby Booth said it one of the worst performances under his stewardship at the Swansea.com stadium, and will certainly be looking to bounce back after a really poor defeat on Friday night. Also on Friday night, we saw Ulster take on Benetton. Ulster winning this one fairly comfortably in the end. 28 points to 8 was the final score in Belfast. A very comfortable victory for the home side. Brilliant tries from the likes of Gilroy, Doak. Herring also got tries in the first half. Herring, of course, on his 200th appearance for the side. And very, very big congratulations to him. Rukavio Tuivasa got one back for the away side, but Doak finished it off the win in the 77th minute. And Ulster are so far unbeaten in the league, and they'll be looking to carry on with that fantastic winning streak. And as you can see there, Herring with his child celebrating his 200th appearance for the region. Ulster look really good so far. They're yet to come up against someone who truly is going to challenge at the top, so it'll be interesting to see once they do. But it's looking pretty positive. Benetton suffering their first loss of the new campaign. Heading on then to the Saturday fixtures. First of all, we saw Leinster take on Zebre, and what a battering this was. Leinster winning this one by 43 points to 7. Leinster scoring 7 tries, and Johnny Sexton coming off the bench to play a pivotal role as well. Leinster maintaining their 100% record throughout this one. Good to see Sexton coming off the bench, but also good to see Leinster having that squad depth that they can just mix things up, give players some game time and rest key players like Sexton. Leinster were dominant throughout in this one. Let's take a look at the stats for this one. They were just so dominant, as you can see there. So as you can see there, just so dominant. 7 tries to the 1, 69% possession to the 31%, 6 clean breaks to the 3, 36 defenders beaten to 14, 11 offloads to 6, and they just dominated territory, 71% to 29%. Number of tackles a lot less for the home side, missed tackles a lot more for the away side, and then turnovers. One was in favour of Zebre, in fact, but just such a dominant display from Leinster. And it's going to be a tough old season for Zebre, you feel, and Leinster once again just showing the squad depth that they have and the quality that they have to put away this Zebre team. Glasgow got their second win of the campaign, defeating a South African side for the second week on the bounce, this time beating the Emirates Lions 13 points to 9. Not particularly a special game, as Batty got an early try for the home side, and then penalties from youngster Ross Thompson also added the scoreline up for the home team. While for the Lions, Viljoen got 3 penalties for the Lions. It wasn't a special game, but you've got to say, I mean, Glasgow very dominant once again. And as you can see from these stats, for the Lions, they're not creating enough chances. It's really concerning for them. If you look at these stats again, 55% possession for Glasgow Warriors, 5 clean breaks compared to 0 of the Lions. Only 3 defenders beaten compared to the 17 of Glasgow. They're also offloading a lot more, 13 compared to the forward territory then is 56 to 44. And also only a tackle success rate of 82% is a concern for the Lions. Not only do they not look like scoring, they look like they could potentially concede quite a lot. I think Glasgow will be frustrated that they didn't do more and at least try and come away with a bonus point win from this game. For the Lions, it's going to be a tough season for them. You feel that, and I've got to say, Glasgow is super dominant and should have won by more. But once again, Thompson at 10, impressing a lot. Young number 10 coming through with Duncan Weir currently sidelined. So it's going to be interesting to see when Weir is back. Does he continue at that 10 shirt? Glasgow fans, let me know in the comments down below. Would you be keen to see him keep going? If he's playing well, he probably should be given the shirt, shouldn't he? Let's move on then to probably the shock of the weekend, as we saw Connacht lose at home against Dragons. Dragons getting a bonus point win here, 35 points to 22 at the sports ground. And you've got to say, for the Dragons, a really tough start to the game. Will Rowland's got a yellow card in that first half, and they just couldn't quite get the game going. And we'll have a look at some stats in a minute. That'll certainly back that up. But the first try for the Dragons is a beauty. Jordan Williams at fullback gets the ball, chips it over the defence, it bounces back into his hands, and he feeds Jonah Holmes, who goes over in the corner, as you can see on this photo. And that was his first of 2 tries on the day. Also, a try for Hodri Williams, the scrum half, who's playing fantastic rugby at the minute. Is he someone who could work his way into the Wales squad? I'd be intrigued to hear your thoughts down below. Tries for Hanson and Fitzgerald did bring the game back for Connacht, but in the end, they couldn't quite get on the end of the chances that they had. And it was the Dragons who came out on top in this one. Again, their first win of the season. Connacht losing their second of the campaign. If we have a look at the stats, though, it makes for some interesting reading, as the home side were pretty dominant in every facet of the game, but they just couldn't quite get things going. I mean, one big issue for Connacht was their kicking success, only 57%. But when you look at the territory and possession in favour of the home team, they simply couldn't do enough. But the defence of the Dragons, with that 91% tackle success rate and 8 turnovers won, shows how much work that back row really is doing. And it's a quality back row. Ross Moriarty and Aaron Wainwright, them two together are really, really exciting players, and they can do a lot of work. Ollie Griffiths as well can be in the mix there. Then you've got Rowlands in the lock. You've got a lot of players who do a lot of good work at the breakdown and slowing the opposition down. This is a big boost for the Dragons, who have struggled to get that consistency. They may put the performance in, but not able to get the results. And this week, they were finally able to do that. So the Dragons running out winners in this one, 35 points to 22. Bonus point win out in Ireland, and their first win of the new campaign. The next Saturday game saw a draw between these two sides. Edinburgh drawing with the Stormers. The Stormers getting their first points on the board of the new season, drawing 20 points apiece. Darcy Graham with a couple of lovely tries on the day, and scrum half Ben Velicott once again outstanding from him, speeding the game up, and he got a try. He's been one of the signings of the summer in this competition. He really has. He's added something to this Edinburgh side that was massively needed. Just a little bit of pace from the scrum half, speeding the game up, knowing when to go, and creating those opportunities for his teammates or for himself. All the tries were scored in the first half, and Edinburgh dominated in terms of possession and territory, but just couldn't make the most out of it at all. And they'll be frustrated not to come away with results in this one. But Darcy Graham, outstanding on the day. He certainly is coming back into some form ahead of the autumn internationals, which will be encouraging for Scotland fans. But Edinburgh fans, let me know in the comments down below, how did you feel about this result? Stormers not had a great season so far. Really, should Edinburgh have seen this one out? Let me know in the comments down below. The next game, we saw Cardiff Rugby lose at home for the first time this season, as they lost against the Blue Bulls, who picked up their first win of the new campaign. Cardiff Rugby losing this one 19 points to 29. Tries for Lowe and the fantastic winger Tambior. What a performance from this man. Created so many opportunities. Was a thorn in the side of Cardiff all evening. He was fantastic, and you've got to say that the Bulls just dominated Cardiff physically, really dominated them. Looking at some stats here, Cardiff missing 20 tackles, only 84% tackle success rate. That's not good enough at this level. If you compare that to the Bulls, who only missed six tackles, and therefore they had a 96% tackle success rate. Their driving maul, their power of getting over the gain line was just way too much for this Cardiff side, and they were getting battered at the breakdown, penalised so many times throughout the game. And always the Bulls, we just know their driving line, the South African teams are so physical, and they certainly won this game off their physicality. It's a big win for the Bulls, but back to the drawing board for Dai Young, I think. The final game of the weekend saw the Scarlets lose at home for the first time this season, as they lost against a very impressive Munster by 13 points to 43. Munster continuing their 100% start to the new campaign, and they are looking exceptional. Tries from O'Sullivan, Coombs, Nash, Laffernan. Coombs got his second of the game. Clote got them their win. A very impressive day for Munster indeed. But some big issues for Scarlets in this game. A lot of sloppy mistakes, and only 60% kicking success rate for the Scarlets just isn't good enough when you get those opportunities to take points against a team like Munster, which I feel is a very much a momentum side, where when they get going, when they get the driving maul going, they get going through the phases, they kick for the right territory, they're very difficult to stop. They've got that speed and they can dictate the rhythm of the game. And the Scarlets just were messing up so much of the breakdown, knock-ons here, very similar to the performance against Edinburgh, but Munster took full advantage of this situation, and they look very, very solid indeed. Probably one of the strongest sides in this year's competition. But for Scarlets, back to the drawing board it is. For Dwayne Peel, he'll be mightily frustrated with his players, with the lack of concentration and discipline. It's a massive issue for them, because they do play great rugby. When they get the ball, they can throw it about, play some lovely stuff, but they need to get the platform to play. And that's what Munster are able to do. They get the platform and they go through their powerful forwards and get their tries. So there we go. Those are all the games of the weekend. But before we go, let's take a look at your predictions. Don't forget, if you want to be in next week's review show, looking at your predictions, make sure to get them in on Thursday night's video, which will be a preview and a predictions video for the weekend's fixtures. So make sure to subscribe for that, ready for Thursday night. Let's take a look then at how you guys did over the course of this weekend, and let's have a look first in the top left here. Thank you for your comments. He backed the Ospreys to get the win, not quite the right result, but certainly backed Leinster to win, which you got right. Back in Glasgow to be the Lions, which you got right. Back in Connacht to be the Dragons wasn't quite the right result. Back in Edinburgh Stormers, nobody's going to get that right this week, of course, as it was a draw. But an interesting pick to pick the Bulls to beat Cardiff. That was a fascinating pick and a correct one as well. And back in Ulster to beat Benetton, which they did, and back in Munster to beat the Scarlets, which they also did. Mark Dunphy, a very often contributor to the show. Thank you, Mark. You backed the Ospreys, but unfortunately, my friend, and for me, as an Ospreys fan, it wasn't right. But back in Ulster, Leinster, Glasgow to get wins, which they did. Connacht didn't quite get their win, neither did Edinburgh or Cardiff. But he backed Munster to get a win, so not a bad week. But I felt there were quite a few odd results this weekend, weren't they? Not everyone we expected to win won this weekend, did they? Canaquanan, once again, a very regular contributor here as well. Backed Ospreys. We've all backed Ospreys, but it hasn't worked, has it, unfortunately. But backed Ulster to win. Backed Zebre to beat Leinster, but I think that might be in tongue-in-cheek from a Munster supporter there. Backed Glasgow to win, which they did. Connacht couldn't get the win. Stormers, it was a draw against Edinburgh. Backed Cardiff to win, they didn't. And also backed the Scarlets to win, which they didn't. So Canaquanan, not the best week for you, my friend. Better luck for next weekend. And then finally, Sean Mahon, with his predictions. Back in the Ospreys to win wasn't quite the right result. Back in Ulster to win, which was right. Back in Leinster to beat Zebre. Back in Glasgow to beat the Lions, which was right. Back in Connacht to beat, to draw with the Dragons, I'm sorry, but it was a Dragons win. Edinburgh to beat the Stormers, but that was a draw. Back in the Bulls to lose against Cardiff, but the Bulls got their win. And back in Munster to beat Scarlets, which they did. So don't forget, if you want to get your predictions on the show for next week, get them in on Thursday night's show on the preview show for that. Let's take a look then at the fixtures for next weekend. On the Friday night, we have Ulster taking on the Lions. We then have the Dragons taking on the Stormers, which for the Dragons, this could be a fantastic game to build upon their win, as the Stormers, I feel, are one of the weaker sides in this year's competition. Zebre host the Glasgow Warriors on the Saturday lunchtime kickoff, while Benetton host the Ospreys. Edinburgh will welcome the Bulls up to Scotland, while Leinster welcome the Scarlets. Cardiff Rugby welcomes Sale Sea Sharks. Cardiff Rugby obviously looking to bounce back after that defeat to the Bulls. And then finally, on the Saturday night, no Sunday fixtures, Munster against Connacht, a Irish derby. That'll be fascinating to see how that one goes. But there we go. Thank you so much for watching the review show of the United Rugby Championships. I hope you have enjoyed. Make sure to leave a like on the video down below. Hit the subscribe button as well. And let me know in the comments down below your thoughts on your team's performance this weekend. Don't forget, Thursday night, it will be the preview show. So make sure to get your predictions on that when it drops on Thursday night around about 7 o'clock. Thank you very much for watching. Take it easy, guys. Have a great week. I'll see you soon. Peace.